You're in a kitchen. The light is too bright and your shoulders already feel tired. Your phone buzzes and a message sits there like a hook in water. Can you help me real quick? Your chest tightens because you know this moment. If you say yes, you will give more than they asked. If you say no, you will be painted as cold, selfish, ungrateful. So you stand there, staring at the screen, feeling the old pressure rise like a shadow behind you. This is not just about one message. This is the story of people-pleasing, of family patterns that wrap around your ribs, of love that always comes with a price tag. You've carried guilt that was never yours. You've apologized for wounds you didn't cause. You've watched betrayal repeat itself with different faces but the same smile. And somewhere inside, a quiet part of you has started to wake up. That part of you is the pattern seer. Watch the shift. The first time you helped, it was a favor. The second time, it was expected. The third time, it was demanded. A small story plays out again and again. They ask, you give, they take more. And when you finally hesitate, they act hurt. The favor was never a favor. It was a test of how soft your boundaries were. Patterns, social convenience, and those who benefit from soft boundaries keep this wheel turning. Power dynamics always follow the same invisible rules. Once you see this, the confusion starts to fade. You are not weak. You were trained. You were shaped by voices that told you love must be earned through sacrifice. You learned to stay quiet to keep peace. You learned to shrink so others could feel tall. But the pattern seer in you has started to notice the strings. You've been here before. You just didn't have words for it. The feeling in your chest, the rush of guilt, the fear of being the bad one, it all has a name now. This is not about hating anyone. This is about seeing the pattern clearly so it can no longer hide. And when you finally see the pattern, you gain something dangerous and beautiful. But the moment you stop defending yourself, something strange happens. You start to see it everywhere now. In small talks, in family rooms, in work chats, in late-night texts that feel harmless but never are. There is a rule hiding under all of it, a rule so quiet that no one names it. Negotiation rule, the one who explains themselves first loses leverage. The moment you rush to defend your heart, your tone, your needs, you hand the blade to the other person. This is not about using the rule to control anyone. This is awareness, not exploitation, because you cannot protect yourself from a game you do not know is being played. Track the pattern. You say you feel hurt, and they say you are too sensitive. You try to explain your side, and they sigh like you are a problem to manage. You offer reasons, stories, proof, hoping they will finally understand. But each word you give becomes a rope they pull to drag you back into the old place. Conditioning and social convenience taught them this works, and taught you to keep trying anyway. Pause. Breathe. Picture a small moment that once seemed harmless. Someone makes a joke at your expense in front of others, and everyone laughs. You feel a sting, so you smile to show you are easy, then later say, "Hey, that hurt." They roll their eyes and say, "I was just joking. Don't be so serious." Next time the joke is sharper, and the laugh is louder, and you learn to swallow the pain faster. The joke was never the point. The test was whether you would defend yourself and then apologize for doing it. Here is the forbidden truth. When you defend yourself to someone who benefits from your silence, the situation often gets worse, not better. Behavior studies repeat this result again and again. People protect the role that gives them comfort. This is the rule nobody teaches you, because it keeps you compliant. You are not broken for feeling trapped in these loops. You were never taught the rule, and now the pattern seer in you cannot unsee it. If that rule is real, why does defending yourself make things worse? You feel it now when it starts. Your mouth moves fast, words spilling out, trying to explain, trying to be clear, trying to be fair. The other person leans back in your mind, calm, quiet, watching, letting you talk yourself small. Explaining feels like defense, but it quietly invites judgment. Each reason you give becomes something they can pick apart, twist, or dismiss. Conditioning taught you that good people explain themselves, and social convenience rewards those who stay in control while others scramble. Here's the tell. The more you explain, the less they listen. Your words feel like they appear in the air and fade before they land, leaving you tired and unsure. You think clarity will save you, but the act of explaining hands them the role of judge. Psychologists call this the justification loop. You don't need the research to feel it, because your body already knows this pattern too well. You're not arguing facts, you're surrendering position. The pattern seer in you starts to understand that this was never a fair game. You were trained to open your chest and offer your heart for review, hoping for kindness that rarely came. They were trained to wait, to lean back, to let you prove your right to exist in the room. This is not about blaming them as monsters. This is about seeing patterns, conditioning, and social convenience for what they are. There is a quiet moment when you see it clearly. You stop mid-sentence and feel a door inside you slowly closing, not in anger, but in protection. You realize you don't owe endless explanations to people who misuse them. You realize that over-explaining was never proof of goodness, only proof of fear. Comment: I stop over-explaining. Let that sentence sit in your mind like a new rule written in stone. This is the shift from confusion to power. The one who explains first gives away power, and once you see that, you cannot unsee it. The pattern seer identity is now part of you, and it will not go back to sleep. You're not broken, and you're not too sensitive. So if defending yourself is the trap, what's the alternative? You start to see the machine under the room. Every group, every family, every friendship has a quiet system running beneath it, like gears in the dark. Someone pushes a little, someone takes a little, someone gives a little too much. This is how dominance and submission grow, not through big fights, but through tiny social tests that happen every day. Here's the evidence. A late reply to your message, a joke that stings, a request that ignores your time, and each moment asks the same question. How soft are your boundaries today? Social conditioning teaches people to test softness. Most don't even know they are doing it, because they were raised inside the same machine. They learned that those who bend are safe, to lean on, and those who stay firm are risky to challenge. So the tests continue, quiet and steady, like fingers tapping glass. Patterns reward those who take and punish those who resist, and social convenience keeps the system alive. Those benefiting from soft boundaries are not always villains, but they are invested in keeping you gentle, open, and easy to move. Think of the moment you finally say no. Not a loud no, just a simple line in the sand. A small story plays out again and again. You set a boundary, and soon a voice says, "You've changed." They say it like a wound, like you've become colder, harder, less loving. But what they really mean is that the machine cannot run the same way anymore. You feel the weight of their words, and the old urge to explain rises, but the pattern seer in you holds steady this time. The door inside you stays closed, quiet, firm, protective. Once you see the machine, you can step out of it. This is the point of no return, because awareness cannot be put back in the box. You see the tests, the probes, the tiny pushes, and you know they are not proof of your worth. You are no longer a soft surface for the world to lean on without care. You are learning to stand where your feet are, solid, still, watching. But what happens if you ignore the test? You reach the moment that changes everything. Not a loud fight, not a slammed door, but a simple refusal that sits in the air like a raised hand. You say no once, and the room feels different. A face tightens, a voice sharpens, a silence grows heavy. Micro test number 1, say no once and watch who panics. Track the pattern. The ones who respected you stay calm, and the ones who fed on your softness suddenly feel hungry. Power dynamics always recalibrate after resistance. This is not cruelty, it is physics in human form. Push back against a blade and it either moves away or cuts deeper. You are not starting a war, you are revealing what was already there. Pattern seer. Eyes notice the shift, the shocked reaction, the way a quiet room suddenly feels like a courtroom. Spot the change in energy, because energy never lies even when words do. This is where most people fold. They see the tension rise and rush to soften, to laugh, to explain, to take back the boundary. They say, "I didn't mean it like that," or "It's fine, don't worry," and the machine locks them back into place. Micro test number 2. Hold your no and watch what happens next. Some will test again with a joke, a guilt trip, or a story of how hurt they feel. Safe enemies appear, not as monsters, but as people protecting their comfort and the patterns that serve them. You feel your heart beat faster in these moments. Old training whispers that you are wrong for standing firm. But you are not wrong. You are learning a new posture, one where your spine is yours again. Say no once. Watch who panics. Let that truth sink into your bones as a quiet crown on your head. But before you move forward, you need to breathe. Everything goes quiet now. The noise of tests, reactions, guilt, and old habits fades into the background. You feel the space between moments, the place where you usually rush to fix, explain, or soften. But not here. Here you stay still. You let your body remember what calm feels like, not the calm of surrender, but the calm of someone who chooses. In this stillness, you start to feel how much power you used to give away just by reacting. Pause. Breathe. Let the air move slowly in your chest. This is not weakness. This is the reset that most people never learn, because a reactive person is easy to control. Self-control is the oldest dominant signal. Predators do not rush, and crowns do not shake. When you learn to pause, you stop being pulled by every hook in the water. Notice how safety feels different now, not the safety of hiding, but the safety of knowing you can hold your ground. You are not attacking anyone. You are not playing games. You are simply no longer offering your nervous system as public property. Patterns and conditioning taught you to jump when others speak, to bend when pressure rises, to soothe when tension appears. But in this moment, you stay still, and the machine has nothing to grab. A new identity is forming quietly under your skin. The pattern seer is no longer just someone who notices. The pattern seer becomes someone who chooses. You do not need to raise your voice. You do not need to justify. You do not need to explain. Your silence is not empty now. It is full of decision. This midpoint is where the old role starts to fall away. The role of fixer, apologizer, peacemaker at your own expense. That role dissolves not with drama, but with breath. You feel it slipping off like a coat that never fit your shoulders, and in its place, something steadier stands. When you return, you won't be the same role. You come back from the pause with new eyes. The room is the same. The people are the same. The patterns are the same. But you are not. You feel it in the way you stand inside yourself. You no longer rush forward to offer explanations. You no longer lean toward every emotional noise. You watch first, you feel second, you choose last. This is the moment the observer becomes something else. You are no longer the resource. You are the strategist. Let that sink in slowly, because this is the identity that cannot be undone. The resource is harvested, pulled from, drained, thanked, and forgotten. The strategist is watched, respected, adjusted to, and left alone when necessary. Those who do not react cannot be controlled. This is not arrogance, not cruelty, not coldness. This is boundary mastery, quiet and clean, like a blade resting in its sheath. The awake strategist in you sees without rushing. You hear the joke and decide whether it deserves a response. You receive the request and measure it against your energy, not their comfort. You feel guilt rise and recognize. It is old conditioning, not truth. Patterns still try to pull you. Social convenience still whispers that it was easier when you were soft. But you are becoming unharvestable, not by fighting the machine, but by refusing to feed it. There is a calm menace in this new posture. Not menace toward others, but toward the old version of you that accepted crumbs and called them meals. You protect yourself now the way a quiet predator protects its territory, without noise, without drama, without apology. You are still kind, but your kindness is chosen, not extracted. You are still loving, but your love has gates, not open fields. This is self-protection, not exploitation, and the difference is everything. The strategist does not announce their change. They simply move differently, speak less, hold more, give slower. And slowly the world around them adjusts, because the world always adjusts to those who know their own value. You feel the crown settle, not heavy, but steady. One story remains. It will decide if you commit. There is a story I want to leave in your mind, because stories outlast instruction. A village once had a door made of old wood, set at the edge of a strong house. Storms came, fists hit it, voices shouted at it, and years passed. Other doors in the village cracked, splintered, or were forced open because they argued with every hand that touched them. But this door did something strange. It did not shout back. It did not explain itself. It did not beg to be understood. It simply stayed closed when it needed to, and opened only for those who knocked with respect. People whispered about this door. They said it was stubborn, cold, proud. But the door never defended itself. It just remained where it was, quiet and steady. Over time, those who came to test it grew tired because there was no reaction to feed on. Those who came with care felt safe because the door opened without fear. And slowly, the village learned that the door that never argued was never broken. You are that door now. Not hard in anger, but solid in self-respect. You no longer chase people down with reasons. You no longer hold your heart out like a paper shield. You decide when to open and when to stay closed. Peace grows in the space where endless defense once lived. Authority rises in the calm of someone who does not need to prove their place. Safety settles over you like a cloak that fits for the first time. Silence is not weakness, it is position. The world treats you differently when you stop begging it to understand you. Patterns lose their grip when you no longer play your old role. Conditioning fades when you choose new responses. Social convenience adjusts when you are no longer convenient to misuse. This is not revenge. This is healing with a spine. The parable is simple, but its lesson is sharp. A door that argues is a door that can be pushed. A door that explains is a door that can be worn down. But a door that quietly knows its purpose becomes a boundary no storm can claim. You are no longer the resource. You are the one who decides what enters your life and what stays outside. When this video ends, your test arrives. Not in some grand moment, but in a small request, a small joke, a small pressure that once pulled you apart. You will feel the old habit rise, and then you will feel the new stillness under your skin. And in that moment, you will choose. The door that never argued was never broken.